Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Apple, Spotify, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast. It doesn't cost you anything. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which makes crypto investing easy. I've been using Uphold since 2017. They're one of my go-to exchanges. They have 10 plus million users, 250 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. You can also trade buy and sell precious metals and equities on Uphold. As with all exchanges, you can buy and sell on them, but I highly recommend you custody your own crypto, not your keys, not your coins. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the link in the description. All right, my friends, Bitcoin is pumping and pumping really strong, guys. It crossed over $21,000. If we look at the chart here in CoinMarketCap, you can see it topped out at $21,047. Right now, a little bit of a pullback, but it could be working its way up, building support levels. But nevertheless, it's pumping into the weekend. This comes as a surprise. No one was really expecting this type of move. From a 7-day perspective, it is up 23%. From a 24-hour perspective, it's up 11%. Ethereum also pumping at it's currently over $1,500, up near 22% from a 7-day perspective, and up near 10% from a 24-hour perspective. And the rest of the alts are moving too. XRP over 40 cents. So we're seeing green across the board. So with that said, let's put our emotions to the side. What is happening here? Is this a bear market rally? Is this a retracement for Bitcoin to $30,000 to $40,000? Is this some sort of epic bull trap? I don't know. And I'm saying that honestly. I'm watching it just like all of you, and I'm trying to figure out what is happening here. It certainly looks bullish on the chart, but from a macro perspective, this could be some sort of bear market rally that's really strong. Maybe Bitcoin goes to 22,000, 23,000, then rolls over to lower lows. That is a scenario. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying that's guaranteed. As an investor, I'm looking at all scenarios, right? Whether it be bear or bull, because I have to look at what's the probability of one of those scenarios playing out. So my hope, of course, is that this is the retracement for Bitcoin to 30 to 40,000. Now, that doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to run up to 40,000 by next week. It could be a little bit choppy, building support levels. And then by, who knows, April, May, then we see the $40,000. It's hard to tell, but that's what I'm kind of expecting for Bitcoin, given how it played out in 2019 after the 2018 bear market. So no one can call the exact bottom, my friends, and no one can call the exact top. It's hard to do those things. Hindsight, of course, it's easy to say, oh, you see, this was the top or this was the bottom. But when you don't know the future, because none of us have a crystal ball, you have to look at these different scenarios and form a thesis and look at what's the probability of something happening. So once again, this could be a really epic bear trap, or it could just be a bear market rally where once again, it rolls over and crashes down to lower lows. That's definitely a possibility. You can't rule it out. And like I said, it could also be a retracement to $30,000 to $40,000. So we'll have to wait and see. Nevertheless, it's great to see green after, all the red we've seen last year, guys, after all the pain. And look, there could still be some more pain coming, right? But at least we're moving in the right direction, and that is upwards. And this goes to show that, dollar cost averaging, hodling, and being patient pays off. And you have to be patient. And once again, you got to check your emotions at the door, because if you invest with your emotions, you're going to get wrecked because you get scared, you FOMO, and that's not how you want to invest. You want to buy the blood in the streets and buy the fear in the market, and then hold that. And then when the euphoric greed sentiment comes back, and then, everybody's talking about it in the media and so forth, you want to be selling the top at that point. So let's see where this rally takes us, my friends. A lot of macro folks are saying this is a rally upwards. We are in the disbelief stage, but I'm not sure about that. And look at this really great chart that was put together by the user Crypto Slug, if I'm saying that right. So what he did, he took the Bitcoin chart here and the bull market pattern from last year and aligned it to the Wall Street cheat sheet. My OG subscribers, remember how many times I shared this over the years, right? The Wall Street cheat sheet, many of you may have seen it from other influencers and so forth. You know, you're in that euphoria stage at the top, complacency, then the market starts correcting, you get into anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation, anger. So right now, if you were to align the Bitcoin chart to this Wall Street cheat sheet, it shows that we are in the anger phase. But right above the anger phase comes a kind of a small rally, but then a rollover into lower lows, which puts you in a depressive state, right? And then it starts making its way up into the bull market once again, which puts us in the disbelief stage. Once again, it's hard to say where we're at because we have to see how the price of Bitcoin moves. Does it go higher than 21,000 or no, does it go to 30,000? I don't know. And I'm going to be taking profits if Bitcoin heads to 35 to 40K. I'm definitely taking some profits. And, that could be coming up in a couple of months or later in the middle of the year. We'll have to wait and see. So I would love to hear what you guys think about this, because look, I look at all information. I listen to everybody and I put when I look at it, I look to see if it makes sense. And of course, look at the probability of such a thing happening or scenario playing out. So I don't just look at the bearish. I just don't look at the bullish. I look at both and what may be happening. Now, from a macro perspective, we're seeing the narrative starting to build that would lead us to more money printing and the Fed and other central banks pausing on their rate hikes. So here's some details from Gold Telegraph. S&P Global Ratings is warning the world is at risk of a crisis as governments, households, and financial institutions binge on debt. Global debt racing to 366% of output. Do you smell the monetary reset? Question mark. That's asked here. So these things are forming the narrative. Time to print money again. Right? We gotta stimulate the markets and the economies. That's coming soon, my friends. Now, when I say soon, I'm not talking about tomorrow or next week or even next month. I think it's on the horizon for this year. As the Fed ramps down here in the United States, there are rate hikes and inflation goes down. I think we're going to see a reversal and they're going to go back to the status quo eventually, right? As inflation goes down. They're going to cut rates and they'll start printing money. Now that could spill over into 2024. I don't know the exact timing, but I think there's going to be some pivots happening this year, and it could be once again in the second half of this year. So altogether, these things are all pointing to light at the end of the tunnel here for the markets and asset prices. Now, finally, yesterday we covered the Grayscale lawsuit against the SEC over the denial of the Bitcoin spot ETF. Well, today, Grayscale reply brief has filed in the GBTC lawsuit versus SEC. Here's a quote. Despite the SEC's historical reluctance or current perceptions of the crypto industry, more generally, this is a legal case about fair and equal treatment under the law. As I stated yesterday, though, the problem is Grayscale is owned by Digital Currency Group, founded by Barry Silbert, and their sister company, Genesis, Grayscale's sister company, Genesis, is under deep water right now. We're looking for a bailout. And Gemini Earn folks are, they can't access their funds because $900 million is stuck on Genesis. And the SEC just sued Gemini and Genesis. And we talked about the lawsuit from the SEC. It's kind of bullcrap, but good luck if you're trying to fight the SEC and you have this big problem. So I don't think it's looking too good here for Grayscale and Digital Currency Group. And look, this is potential, and I say the word potential collapse that could happen. I don't want it to happen. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's a scenario that could play out, right? Because we're not seeing any type of resolution here. So what's going to happen? Is Gemini going to go under? Is Genesis going to go under? I don't know. But this is why I'm cautiously optimistic with this price pump here from Bitcoin. And we'll have to wait and see how things play out. We'll have to see how far Bitcoin goes again. And, you know, we'll see. We'll see, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this podcast, and I'll talk to you all later.